Hey there. Well, today what I'm going to do is attempt to do a graft, share it with you, and this is a different way of grafting. I've showed I've showed this type of grafting before, but this time I'm going to try and do a close-up on it and see what happens. This right here is a pawpaw. It's a seedling. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to convert it into a known pawpaw, known variety. What I have here is a piece of scion. There's two buds on that. All that is last year's growth that was harvested while it was dormant, probably the mid-January to mid-February, depending on where you're at and how you like to work with these. From my understanding, they're only good for about 6 months, and then they're no longer any good to you. Now what I'm going to try and do is I got to try and get the right thickness to match up. And right there is where it looks like I'm going to be. Somebody's blowing my phone up. I'm going to turn it off for a minute. Alright. Now I got a razor blade here. Where I had snipped at, I want to clean it up. And that's because the shears could cause a little bit of bruising, and I don't want that to be an issue later on. Nice and flat. Let's make sure they're going to match. We're in there. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this little thin knife. It's a pocket knife made by Stanley, and I'm going to make a cut. Make an angle cut. Try to make it long and straight. There. So you can see that angle there. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a corresponding cut to the scion and try to match it up to that, the same cut. Make sure that they're going to match as far as size, side by side. I have to look at it this way, coming around to me. Make sure the scion needs to be longer. Just a tad bit longer yet. Try to keep it straight. got a match. Now, I'm going to get the razor blade out again, and this time, let me stick this in my pocket so the air ain't blowing on it and drying it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come 1/3 of the way down that slice. And I'm going to take my razor blade, making sure that I stay parallel with that limb, and take it straight down. Hand cramping. Now, I'm not trying to force it because that blade will slide right through there and catch my finger. I'm just gently working it down. And take that blade, just past the bottom where I sliced that at. So now that I got that taken care of, break out the scion, and normally what I'll do is I'll put them beside each other because I want that cut to be in the same spot because they have to fit to each other. And got to try and stay straight. And that too is just past where I made that cut. Now then, this right here, by the way, is a scion that came from a tree known as Rigel. Never heard of a Rigel? I called the place and asked about it, where I ordered a scion, and according to the gentleman I had talked with, it's a cross between Shenandoah and Susquehanna. So we'll see what it is. He said it was a seedling, and the seedling came from that cross. So we'll see what happens with it. Redfern Farm, by the way. I think it's out in Iowa. Okay. The thing about parafilm, you can stretch it, make it thin. It's a tape that's made just for this. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one wrap over the buds. Don't want no more than one wrap over them buds. And I'm going to wrap it up. I like to wrap the bud or the scion before I attach it, because a lot of people, they'll put the scion on and then they'll start from the bottom and wrap up, or start from the top and wrap down. But I like to put the parafilm on before on the scion before I attach it, and the reason being is that I don't want to rock that scion back and forth. Once I put it in there, I want it to be in there. Now, just see if I can get the two pieces to unite to one another. Make sure they're good and straight. There we have it. They're good and straight. Now what I'm going to do is just continue wrapping until it makes all the way down to the bottom, and then I'll put another piece of parafilm on there. Parafilm's like a wax tape, and it does stick to itself. Just a small piece, didn't stretch it as much as I did before. I just want to make sure I got good coverage. Gently squeeze the pieces together as I'm wrapping. That's good. A little piece of parafilm I just threw down in there out of my way. Now one last thing that I am going to do is I'm going to wrap the union. I can see the union there, I can see the union there. Wrap those two unions with a rubber band that's stretched, and that rubber band will draw those two together. I want good contact. We'll see what kind of a callus it'll produce later on, and this is the way I do it. I'm going to squeeze the cambium layers against each other. I see where the union is right there. Now I'm working my way right back up because I want a good tight fit. And that's what I'm getting out of this, a good tight fit. The more you wrap that rubber band, the tighter it'll get. And that's what I'm after. I want that tight fit. I'm ready to tie her off. Tying these rubber bands can be tricky, but over a period of time of wrapping these rubber bands as much as I do, I've gotten used to doing it. There. That is a tongue and whip. Now if all things work well, the bud that's right here and the bud that's right here, they'll crack through the parafilm and they'll start to grow two branches, and it'll then be its own variety. Now this stem down through here, you have to keep an eye on it. Knock any growth with your fingernail trying to come out. You don't want anything from this rootstock to grow. You want everything from here up to grow. If you got stuff growing on this right here, it could overcome these. But anyways, just something that I wanted to share with you. Pawpaws. Amazing little trees to work with. My name's Jim. If you like what you see, subscribe. Any comments or questions that you may have, I welcome. You have a God blessed day.